Emra ya ti Hopeson Adorye ena nkofo hye ase ebusa se na ye Adorye Mrs Adorye wa owen nkofo se watu kwan ebisi okwa ebisi ena nkofo kan de omoka bia na mentiase se ya chi ukunu na watimi ama court and say watimi anko police station although many evidence but as it stands now omo follow stories no ene omo di story na chi ye pa no che se na yire Hopeson Adorye a wife when see ho empress when see ase enkofo bu se di ntina when see ho enti what is enkofo bu se na yire wan kwaso no mienu de taso bom se we ta we tu eni we so ta we achi eni we fimfam we eni se de omo ntam sitie na enra unua nkode fie a unua ba nso mpia bonte mehwe ni de na bibi koso ana ena empress betro to ni page so say Exodus 14:14 na de kra na wo ho yenhwe yenti asem a trosem no a yenua ba na ka no ewo ho yenti.
Exodus 14. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea directly opposite Baal-zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord." So the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services." So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Pi Hahiroth, opposite Baal-zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them, and I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night the cloud brought darkness to the one side and light to the other side, so neither went near the other all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind, and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so that they had difficulty driving, and the Egyptians said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in him and in Moses his servant. Exodus 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. "I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea."
Enti mi hu quotation nchira ase na Nyankopon powura mi mu no bie mani na me ti ase se wo se munye kom na Awurade beko mo kon amamo. Enti Empress Gifty wo se wo no waye din waye kom en wo hwan pipi mpanfo din en wo hwan se Nyankopon na ebeku ni kunu dokwai ama no koso ko a ni kunu afa ato no ho so no di nyame na betinya akon ama no. Enti mo a mo expect se Empress in Kasano. Finally, the Waba can. And watch it. And I call to her. Yeah, because oh, free hopes not there, free hopes not there. Maybe Tobo, maybe Johnson, maybe Ta, or just be a creating his remorse or. And I know more near Cohum. Alan Cash, a wife, yeah, mammy. And also, journalists say, Mommy, I don't wish you. What's the one no? As soon. Would you want that or no nisu? Share or no, or the soon yaday. Oh, so that, oh, Dinanko Podi, no more dear, or more how no mamma dear, Eddie Ama Yankopon, no one say, the Messiah of Ghana 2024. No, ya papa Alan Kojo Chematin, Alan Cash, Yenti and a wife when someone or the two.
Friend to tell a friend the good news about Alan, I tell you. This country will experience a change that it has never experienced before. Many political leaders have always used change is coming, change is coming, change is coming. But trust me, this man is bringing real, true, genuine change. Change that every Ghanaian can feel. Change that every Ghanaian can feel. Ashi mokomoko no anyamime nya fwa shikia nya ha ala nya heba journey Bible e ko akashi. Come unto me all ye that labor and are heavy laden. Today ala na fremu na nya ma na bobaba ala na chamo se mombra ne nchen no no kwa na betimi ahwem edwadifo emabnu mofra school mofra etutu oma ya wo mo ne mo nyame se mofra otie mo moti alandia mo voti nim se mo voti but mo kapompa e man se erade yenim se ye dachi ehye sa papa insa ye dachi hye sa papa insa. And I'm telling you, the future of Ghana lies in the hands of this gentle, compassionate, extraordinary, exemplary visionary, this action-oriented man. He is my Alan and your Alan and Ghana's Alan. Don't be afraid. 7th December is just around the corner. Remember what I've said. We will not find a better man. We will not find a better Christ-like person. We will not find a more genuine person. We will not find a man who's committed to seeing the gains of this country. No political party can make this happen. The duopoly no
and to say dear, afa frantofo yellow. Omo de omo so omo haw no ma bebe se nyina omo de amanya nkopon enti nipa bia o hye akire takra odwom o be se ugu omo nimu asese party na omate omo hu ntin omo de omo haw nyina ene oma benedi nyina e de yema nyankopon na emom nipa obetimi abeje Ghana si o papa Alan Kojo Martin. Rainy stories are my cover at the bro. Me any Big Ben. Make sure so be me a subscribe button and leave you comment or comment section. I feel super so please you advert. Big Ben TV. I bet my phone numbers in the screen so far. You bet you advert and the best among the rest.